Hello friends, welcome to our channel. Many of our friends who are aspiring for Power BI developer role, data analyst role, require good or sound practical knowledge of Power BI. Hence, we have designed a complete end-to-end project so as to explain all important concepts of Power BI. So in this video, we are going to cover all the important steps that are required for a project, starting from data capture to data transformation, then data modeling, and we will also cover DAX by designing different measures. After that, we will design these beautiful reports in which we are going to analyze different parameters related to website traffic. So we are going to design the report related to website traffic analytics by device and sources. So we will going to analyze how the bounce rate, how the session duration are varying on the basis of device types, content segment, different traffic sources. Then in the other report, we are going to perform trend-based analytics. So in this particular report, we are going to see overall trend of session duration on the basis of different traffic sources, different device types. What is the bounce rate, monthly trend, daily trend? All this we are going to analyze in this trend-based report. Then we will perform all those geographical analytics. So in this report, we are going to perform geography-based analytics. We will identify top 5 cities on the basis of session duration, page views, bounce rates, and number of sessions. Also, we will see how different regions are performing on the basis of page views and session duration. After creating all these reports, what we are going to do, we are going to create our dashboard. So we will design this beautiful dashboard. So in this dashboard, we are going to see certain KPIs like average session duration, total page views. These KPIs we will analyze. Apart from that, we will also pull certain visuals from our reports as well in this particular dashboard. And one important thing, friends, what we will do, we will also write SQL queries pertaining to these visuals. So all the visuals that are mentioned here in different reports and dashboard corresponding to them, we will also write queries. So we will going to write SQL queries pertaining to them, and we will verify the results of each and every visual, that data that is coming inside the visual. We will verify that particular data with these queries as well. So this activity we will also perform, and this activity will help you in understanding the SQL concepts, because these queries are not straightforward. We have added several concepts. I am going to explain several concepts using these queries. So this will also help you in cracking the SQL interviews. So all in all, this project and not only encompasses Power BI but also SQL concepts as well. And let me tell you friends, after completion of this project, you will get a good grasp of all the important concepts of Power BI like data shaping, transformation, data modeling, DAX, designing visuals, dashboards, reports. All this you will understand after finishing this project. So I hope you will like the content. First, understand what is website traffic analytics, why we need to perform that analytics. And before moving forward, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You will get a quality content like this. So let's start. So first of all, let me tell you, we need to understand what this website traffic analytics is all about. This website traffic analytics is very important in real world. So in real world also, we need to perform this traffic analytics so that we will get a good sense of like how our website is behaving, what is the overall user experience. If we take the example of e-commerce website, so how is the overall user experience, which products our users are liking or which products they are not liking, and what is the overall effectiveness of campaigns. So this sort of analysis we can perform with the help of website traffic analytics. So if we come to our current scenario, what we are going to perform, we are going to perform analytics over website traffic. So our website traffic is coming from different channels, from different devices, from different locations. So we need to analyze like what is the overall traffic, from which device the traffic is coming highest and from which device traffic is coming lowest. In the sense like whether the traffic is coming highest from mobiles, tablets, laptops. So we need to analyze in that sense. Similarly, we need to analyze from which channel, like whether the traffic that is coming on our website is organic, or whether the traffic is coming through any campaigns that we have run, or the traffic is coming from social media handles or from emails. We need to identify that. What is the source of that particular traffic? Also, we need to analyze the traffic on the basis of geographical locations, like from which location the traffic is highest, from which location traffic is lowest. Along with that, we also need to see which locations people from which location people are liking our content, and from which locations people are not liking our content. And we can do that particular analysis using bounce rate. I will explain you later what is this bounce rate, but we need to perform that type of analytics. And in real world as well, let me tell you, this type of analysis is very important. Similarly, if we run any campaign like New Year's sale, Diwali sale, what is the overall impact on the website traffic after running that particular campaign? So we need to analyze like whether traffic, website traffic is increasing or decreasing, whether users are liking our content after running that campaign. So we need to analyze in that manner as well. And why we are doing this? To identify or to see what is the overall effectiveness of our campaign. And we will also see that whether we need to spend for that campaign in future or not. If that particular campaign is failing, so there is no need to spend in that campaign in future, or people are not buying a specific product, we need to reduce the revenue spent on the campaigns pertaining to that product. So we need to perform these type of analysis as well. but but in our current context, we are limiting ourselves because I don't want to make things that complex. So in our current project, what we are going to perform, we are going to analyze the things on the basis of campaigns, source types, locations, and device types. Primarily, we will analyze our website traffic along these areas. So this is all about the introduction about this project, and later on we will see some important terms about this project, and then we will start our hands-on and with Power BI. Now let's see some of the important terms that we are going to use while analyzing our website traffic. So the first one is the session. As you can see from the statement, it is the time spent on website from initial click till final interaction. So the session, if I mention it like this, session is time spent between initial interaction. This is our initial interaction of user, and this is the final interaction. So the time spent between this is a particular session. Now we can understand it like this. When a user, suppose there is a user, he or she started accessing our website. So this is the initial interaction. And let's suppose he or she spent almost like 15 to 60 minutes and browsed different pages, did different interaction activities, and before leaving our website. So the entire time that this particular user spent, we can consider it as a specific session. And why the study of session is important? Because this will help in this will help us in understanding the overall engagement of the user with our website. So this is very important. Now the second term that is important is bounce session. So these bounce sessions are single page sessions having session duration of 0 seconds. So what does this imply? Let's suppose we have a user and there are 5 pages on our website. These are the 5 pages on our website, and our user started accessing page 1. But this user didn't like the features present on the website, and before accessing this page 2, this user actually leave this or left our website. So this user left our website before accessing the page 2. So these type of sessions where user only interacts with a single page but did not move to the second page, we can categorize those sessions as bounce sessions, and they are very critical because to understand the overall user engagement, we need to identify how many bounce sessions are there in comparison to total sessions. So this is very critical, identifying the bounce sessions, because it will help us in like why the users are not liking the content of our website. What are the reasons users are leaving before accessing multiple pages? They are leaving early from our website. So these type of things we can analyze using the bounce session concept. Then we have the page views per session. This is simple, like count of website pages viewed during a single session. So in a single session, how many pages are viewed? So we can categorize as pages views per session. Then we have the source types. Source type, like from where website traffic is coming. And here we have mentioned some of the sources, for example, like social, referral, organic, like if our user is coming due to some social media, so the website traffic source is social media. And if our user is coming through some referral program, then we need to mention the traffic source as referral. Similarly, if our user is coming organically without any paid advertisement, without any social media platform, our user is coming organically by searching on browser, then we can categorize that traffic as organic traffic. And why this study is important? Because we need to categorize. Let's suppose if we have run any referral campaign, we need to understand like how effective that referral campaign is. So for that purpose, we need to understand like how our traffic is coming or our website traffic is coming. Then we have the campaigns. Campaigns are efforts to promote the content, products. So as you all are aware, like New Year sale, winter sale, these type of campaigns website generally runs to attract or to lure the users on their website. Then finally is the bounce rate. Bounce rate is bounce session divided by total sessions. Bounce sessions, as I already explained, bounce sessions are sessions having session duration of 0 seconds. So these are bounce session. We need to put those sessions in numerator, and in denominator we need to put total sessions, including bounced plus non-bounce session. So this will be our denominator, and bounce session will come in numerator, and we can derive the figure of bounce rate. So I hope you are able to understand these terms, because website traffic analytics, this analysis is very common in real world as well. And if we will start or we will perform these type of analysis without understanding the core concepts or core terms, then it will be futile, like it will not work for us. So I'm requesting you to please go through each and every terms that I have mentioned here. Search on your own as well if you want to dive deeper, like what is bounce session, and you want to dive deeper to see in detail how these bounce sessions arrive, or what are the reasons behind these bounce sessions. You can also drill down further on these concepts. But all in all, I can say that these are some of the important terms if you are working on a website traffic analytical project. Now we will see 5 important steps in any Power BI project that we always need to follow. So let's discuss all those 5 important steps. We need to understand what are the important 5 steps that we always need to follow when we are designing our end-to-end Power BI project. So the first step is data import. It means that we are going to import our data. Now, the point that I have mentioned here is importing data from different sources like flat files, databases, etc. So, in real world projects, what we are going to do, we are going to import the data. Now, the data may reside in flat files or in CSV files or in Excel files, or it may be present in databases like Postgres, or I can say like MySQL and SQL Server. So there are n number of databases, different file formats. So data may reside in different formats. The first step when we are working in end-to-end Power BI project is importing the data. So this will be going to be our first step. So the second step that is very critical when we are going to design end-to-end Power BI project is data transformation, and I can also say data shaping. So we are going to use Power Query Editor here. Power Query Editor. So Power Query Editor is we are going to use for data transformation and data shaping. So why this step is very important? Because in this step we are going to clean and structure our data. As you are aware, when we are importing our data, the data may reside in different shape. It means that data types may there may be the case like data types are different. For example, when we are data importing data from CSV file, that data type is text, and when we are importing the data from the SQL server, the data type is date. So what we need to do, we need to align the data types. Similarly, there may be the case that there is some missing data. So in this step, we need to tackle the missing data as well. We need to tackle this missing data. Similarly, there may be the case that the details of certain columns are different. For example, we have one gender column, and when we are importing this column from CSV file, here the genders are mentioned as male and female. But when we are going to import this data from MySQL, the data is mentioned as M and F. So what we need to do in data transformation and data shaping step, we need to synchronize this data so that our analysis will be very easy at the end. So these type of steps like data type correction, handling missing data, and synchronizing different columns, these types of these are some of the steps that we are going to perform in data transformation. So this is very important exercise. We are going to use Power Query Editor in our project. We will also perform data transformation activities. After this data transformation activity, now the next important step is data modeling. This is very crucial step. We generally ignore working on this step, but if I will tell you from my experience, then this is very crucial step. We need to give significant amount of our time when we are working on a Power BI project towards this data modeling, because the important thing is, if we have the good data model, if we have the good data model, then ultimately it will save our future time. I will tell you what type of future time it will save, but good data model is very critical. Now, data modeling is important because it will help us in organizing our data. Organizing in the sense, we are going to establish the relationship among different tables. Among different tables, we are going to establish the relationship, as well as it is also helpful in maintaining integrity. How? Because it will help us in providing a set of rules through which these tables, it will provide us different rules through which we can establish the relationship among the tables. So integrity is the other aspect that we will maintain using data modeling. The other thing that is very important related to data modeling is scalability, because as I've mentioned earlier, if we have the good data model, then ultimately when we will receive huge amount of data down the line, then we will save the time for loading that huge data. So good data model will ultimately helpful in reducing the loading time. The other important aspect related to data modeling is writing efficient queries. So as you all are aware that we are going to write DEX queries in our project. Once we have the good data model, it will be very easy for us to write the DEX queries. So all in all, I can say that data modeling, we need to put great emphasis on data modeling step, because good data model will ultimately leads to a perfect Power BI project. So this is very crucial step. The next step is designing reports and dashboards. Now in this step, we are going to create visuals. Visuals are different charts that we are going to create in this step. So we are going to create reports on the basis of different website traffic trend. So in this project, we are going to create report on the basis of website traffic trend, as well as geographical reports based on from which regions the maximum website traffic is coming. Similarly, from which sources, like from which device the website traffic is coming. So these type of things we are going to perform in our project. So reports and visuals and dashboards we are going to create in this step. Very important step. Now the final step in our Power BI project will be designing the data analytical report. So this step is very important. And why we need this data analytical report? Because it will help management to take strategic decisions on the basis of key insights. So what does this mean? It means that we are going to we are going to design, or we are going to add different KPIs in our analytical report, with the help of which our top management will analyze the performance of organization, performance of their will analyze the performance of their organization. So with the help of these KPIs, they will see like in which direction their business is going. If there is any improvement is required, they will also work on those particular aspects using or after analyzing the overall data. So these analytical reports are very helpful for our top management. So if I can say, the end user of this reports will be the top management. So in our case, like what is the overall website traffic, in which regions from which regions website traffic is coming, what is the overall traffic trend, what is the overall traffic trend, from which regions maximum traffic is coming, from which regions there is no traffic that is coming. So all in all, our top management will get fair bit of idea like how their overall business is performing and in which areas they need to put more focus on with the help of this data analytical report. And the important thing is data analyst will generally prepare these type of reports. So the author of these reports will be data analyst. And if I tell you from my experience, the art of making this type of report is very crucial because you need to put more emphasis on involving or gathering those KPIs that are relevant. By adding irrelevant KPIs in the analytical report will make the report more cluttery. So please avoid adding unnecessary KPIs in this report and try to add those KPIs through which our management get a fair bit of 360-degree view in which direction their business is going. So these are the 5 steps that we are going to follow in our project. We are, first of all, we will import our data, then we will perform data shaping and transformation. Then we will do our data modeling, establish the relationship among tables. Then we are going to create the visuals, reports, and dashboards. And finally, on the basis of those visuals and reports, we are going to create our data analytical report that we will present to top management. So these will be the 5 key steps that we are going to follow in this project. Before starting our project, we need to understand the list of activities that we are going to perform in this project. So this particular diagram depicts different activities that we are going to perform while analyzing our website traffic. So the first activity that is very common is capturing the data. So before analyzing anything, we need to capture the data. So this will be our first activity. We need to capture the data from MySQL. So MySQL will be our source for capturing the data in the Power BI. Then we will perform the data shaping. We will perform all sort of data transformation here in this particular step using Power Query Editor. So we will going to use Power Query Editor here for performing all the data shaping transformation work. So which type of activities we are going to perform here? We will going to perform column rename here. We will replace some values that are not relevant to us. We will also perform data type updation of a column. So these type of activities we are going to perform in data shaping stage. So this will be our second activity. The third activity, we are going to perform data modeling. So this is very critical. This is very important and critical activities, and we need to put more focus on this particular activity. So here, what type of activities we are going to perform in data modeling stage? So we are going to establish the relationship among different tables, that is like different facts and dimension table. We are going to create the relationship among them, and we are going to follow star schema here. I will explain you once we will define this data modeling. I will explain you what is star schema. Then in the our fourth major activity will be designing new table. So here we are going to design a new calculate table. So that will be our calendar or date dimension table. So we are going to create this table using Power BI only, using our DAX code. So we are going to use DAX code to create this table. So this will be our fourth major activity. The fifth major activity will be designing measures. So in this activity, we are creating measures like total page views, total number of sessions, total session duration, average session duration, bounce rate. These type of measures we are going to create in this activity, in this major activity, I can say. Then the sixth major activity will be designing the reports. So we are going to create reports like website traffic by device and sources, website traffic trend, geographical based website traffic analytics. So we are going to perform these types of analytics during this, or I can say we are going to create these type of reports in this major activity. Finally, we are going to create the dashboard by picking the important visuals from here, and some new visuals we are going to create just only for the dashboard that will provide us 360-degree view where our business is going. There is one more activity that we will perform at the time of closure, that is creation of analytical report. So this analytical report will be very critical and very important for our higher management because this contains summary of all our analysis. Using this report, we will provide a 360-degree view, like through the dashboard, it is like showcasing the different visuals, but in this analytical report we will define those visuals, like what is our understanding, where the sales is going, it whether it is increasing, decreasing. So these type of work we will going to perform in analytical report. So this we will create at the time of closure of this project. So these are some of the major activities that we are going to perform in this website traffic analytics project. Now let me explain you about the data warehouse that we are going to use in this project. So we are going to use website traffic analytics, this particular website traffic analytics, as our data warehouse. So in this particular data warehouse, we have different dimension and fact tables already present. So in data warehouse, we have the dimension, or in other words, we can say we have the lookup tables. So this is one and the same thing, dimension and lookup tables present, as well as we have the fact table, or data tables already present in it. If I will show you the tables that are present inside this data warehouse. So here, as you can see, we have these four tables already present. So because we are using mysql as the platform for creating the data warehouse, so we are storing, or we are assuming that we are going to store structured data here. So we are assuming that we are going to store structured data here. The reason is because mysql is able to handle our structured data, and that is why we have created a specific structures of table. So we have a predefined structures already present. So we have a structure for device lookup, we have the structure for geography lookup, we have the structure for source lookup, and we have the structure already present for our fact table. So we are going to create a, we have already created a data warehouse in a structured format, and we have these dimension tables and this fact table already present. So we have device lookup table, we have geography lookup table, and we have source lookup table. So we have these three lookup or dimension tables present in our data warehouse, and we have one fact table, that is website traffic data. This is our fact table. Now the important difference between the fact table and dimension table is that this fact table contains numerical information, and this dimension table contains attributes that define this, or that describe this numerical information. So these contains attributes that describe the factual, or I can say the present inside numerical information present inside our fact table. So this is our dimension, these are our dimension tables, and this is our fact table. Dimension tables describe the information that is present inside the fact table. So this is all in all the difference between dimension tables and the fact tables. And it is also a very important question, interviewer might ask you what is the difference between dimension tables and fact tables. So you need to tell him like this, that fact tables contain numerical measures that are described by the one more important thing, or one other important thing that is related to fact table, is that fact table also contains, apart from containing the numerical measures, or I can say the factual information, it also contains foreign keys. So using these foreign keys, our fact table get connected with the different dimension tables. So in other words, we can say the primary keys in our dimension tables are present as a foreign key in our fact table, and we will establish a relationship and create different type of schemas like star schema, snowflake schema, using these foreign keys. So we will connect or establish a relationship using these foreign keys between fact table and dimension table. So if we will come to our the data warehouse that we have created for analyzing the website traffic data. So we have this website traffic data fact table already present here. This is our fact table. And inside this fact table, as you can see here, we have the date key, source key, device key, location key. So these source key, device key, location key, all these are our foreign keys, and corresponding to these foreign keys we have the primary keys present inside the lookup tables. The lookup tables or dimension tables that are present, those table contains the primary key against these foreign keys. And we have some numerical measures also present, like session duration, page views per session. So we are going to analyze these measures, or I can say we are going to analyze these numerical information against the dimensions that are present here. Also there these are two columns that contains numerical information, that is session duration and page views per session. I will explain you after few minutes that what is this session duration, what is this page views per session column contains, so what type of information these two columns contains. But for now you just understand that we have these foreign keys and these numerical information present inside our fact table. Now let's jump onto our dimension tables and see what type of structure they contain or what type of information they contain. So if I will describe this, okay. So this is our dimension table. I have shown the first 100 rows of this dimension table. So we have the device key. So this device key is basically primary key. This is acting as a foreign key in our fact table. Then we have the device from which our user is browsing our website. Then we have the device types like laptop, mobile. So which type of device our user is using for browsing. Then we have the content segment, which type of content our user is browsing, like it's a business, educational. So there are different type of content segments present here. Then we have the browser, which type of browser or which browser our user is using for browsing the content of website. So these are different type of browser. So I put the random names here like browser ER1, ER2. These are some random names. And one more thing that I want to explain you here is that this is totally dummy data. It is not real world data. This data I have created, or in other words, I can say this is a mock data that I have created for demonstration purpose only. So this is our device lookup. Now let's jump on to our other dimension table, that is geo lookup or geography lookup table. So if I will explain you this table, here we have the location key. Again, this is a primary key and there is corresponding foreign key that is present inside our website traffic data fact table. Then we have the location name, from which location our user is browsing the website. Then the location country, from which country our user is residing, that is using our website. Then the region and the city from which our user is using our website. So this is something geographical. This table or this dimension table contains geographical information. So let's jump on to our other dimension table, that is the source lookup. So let me explain you this as well, and we will show, or we will see the top 100 rows here. So we have this source lookup, or in other words we can say this source dimension table. In this table we have this source key. This is acting as a primary key in this table and acting as a foreign key inside our fact table. This is this website traffic data fact table. It is acting as a foreign key in this table. Then we have the source name column. I will come on to this column in a while. Before that, I will explain you what is source type. The source type column defines what are the website traffic sources, what are the website traffic sources through which users are arriving on our website. What are the different website traffic sources through which users are arriving on our website. So there are different type of sources mentioned here, like organic. So organic sources is like our user is just searching on a browser specific that our user is searching their specific need on browser, and using that they are redirecting to our website. So this is organic traffic. Then we have the paid traffic, like we have run any ads through which we are attracting the traffic. Then we have the if we have run any referral program through which users are coming on website, then we can mention it as referral. Or if through any social media platform users are redirecting towards our website, then we have mentioned website traffic sources as social. Similarly, if we have run any email campaigns through which users are coming to our website, so we have mentioned source type as email. So there are multiple source types that we have mentioned here. Apart from that, there is one more column, that is source campaign. So source campaign is like if we have run any campaign which are attracting different users, like if we have run any spring sales, summer offer, winter discount, new year deal, we have run these things on our website and that is attracting users toward our website. So we have mentioned those as in source campaign column. Now let's come on to this source name. So in this column, we have mentioned source 1, source 2, source 3. Here basically the purpose of adding this column is like if user is coming through organically to our website, so it is like which search engine they are using, and if it is coming through any paid ads, so what type of ads we have run, on which platform we have run those ads, social, which on which social media platform user used before coming to our website. So these this particular column contains information regarding that, like specific information, which type of organic, how organically it is coming, in the sense like which browsing engine they are using, which paid ads they have, through which paid ads they have redirected to our website. So this column contains that information. Currently in our project, this basically this column is not that much relevant, so that is why I have mentioned is at source 1 2 3 4 5 6, because we will not going to use this particular column in our current project. Source type and source campaign, these columns will be used for the analytical purpose. So this is all about source lookup table. Now the first major activity that we are going to perform is capturing the data. So as you can see from this list of activities diagram, this will be our first activity, like capturing the data. This will be our first activity that we are going to perform. We need to capture the data from the MySQL source or data source, and here we have our data warehouse already present in MySQL, and we need to establish a connection between MySQL and Power BI. So we need to perform this particular step. Now let's jump onto the Power BI desktop and create a fresh pbix file and establish the connection to our MySQL source. So for that, I have opened this Power BI desktop, and what we need to do, we need to create a fresh report. So in Power BI, we are going to create different reports. So for now, let me click on this. So this will be the initial interface that we will see. Our first task is capturing the data. For that, we need to see this get data icon. As you can see here, we have this get data icon present. So we are going to use this because for performing analysis, we need to have some data. So we will capture that data from our warehouse that is present in MySQL. We will establish the connection in Power BI, and then we will perform the analysis. For that, what I need to do, I will go on to this get data and click on this more, because our MySQL source is not listed here. And then we need to go to this database section. So in this database section, we will see different databases, and we need to select our MySQL database and then click on connect. So once you will click on connect, you will see this window. But I will advise you, before mentioning the details here, you need to install the connector. You need to install the connector. That I will share the link for this. So this MySQL connector is must before accessing the data warehouse or database present in MySQL. You need to have this connector installed. Then only you are able to access the MySQL source from the Power BI desktop. So I will share the link. You need to install this. Because I have already installed the same, I can directly mention the server and database. So for server, here we have, as because our data warehouse is already installed in local machine only, I'm going to mention localhost and then colon with port number, and port for MySQL is 3306. So we need to mention it like this in the server, and then in the database we need to mention the name of the database. So here our name of the database is website underscore traffic underscore analytics, or in other words, I can say as we are categorizing it as data warehouse, so our data warehouse name is website traffic analytics. So we will mention this in database. website traffic analytics. Okay, then click on OK. So when you click on OK, you will see window like this. So here you just ignore this Windows section and go to this database section. In this database section, you need to mention the username and password of the connection that you are using. So as you can see here, let me show you here. I have these different connections present. So I'm going to use this connection, projects connection, and the username here is project user. You have also created different connections. So you are going to use the respective username and the password respectively. So here my username is project user and I'm going to mention the password for this specific user that we have already created. So my database reside under this particular connection. So what I will do, I will mention as username as project user and password as the respective password, which I had created when I was creating that particular connection. So it is showing we couldn't authenticate with the credentials provided. Please try again. Okay. So as you can see here, the error is coming because I have mentioned database name wrong, website traffic analytics rather than analytics. I have mentioned this. So I need to go back. I need to rectify the name. Now it is website traffic analytics. Okay, then click on OK. Now it is able to connect. So all the tables that are present inside this warehouse, all the dimension and the data table or the fact table that are present, we are able to see here. Now what we need to do, we need to import all these respective dimension and fact table, and we need to click on this load icon. So now our data get loaded into the Power BI data model, and we need to wait for some time. Okay. Now if we will go to this model view, you are able to see that we have all the like dimension and fact table here. Now you can see that we have the dimension tables and respective fact table already present inside this model view. So when we can hover over this, you can see that storage mode is mentioned as import. So what does that mean? That we have imported the data from mysql. We are not using the direct query mode. We have already imported the data in the Power BI data model, and we will work on that imported data. So down the line, if there are any changes that we will going to perform in MySQL source, we need to refresh this data with the latest changes. Otherwise, automatically those changes that we will going to perform in MySQL, they will not get reflected inside this because we are using import storage mode. So this is very important interview question. You need to answer like this, that we need to perform some, or we need to mention some refresh schedule to update the data inside this tables if there is any update in the source. So now we have these tables present in the Power BI data model. We need to establish the relationship among these tables. So that is also very important. But before that, what we are going to do, we are going to perform the data shaping activity. As you have seen that we have finished this activity one, major activity one, that is data capture. Now we are going to work on data shaping before going to this data modeling. So we will start with the data shaping work. So in the data shaping, we are going to perform column rename, replace some values, and perform the data type updation. Now to start data preparation activities, what we need to do, we need to go to Power Query editor window. So for that, what we need to do, we need to click any of our table and just right click and go to edit query. So by clicking on this, we will go to Power Query editor window. So this is our Power Query editor window, and here all our tables are listed. Now, for performing the data preparation activity, I have jotted down some of the activities that are categorized under data preparation. So for that, let me show you some of those activities. We have the replace column values. So we have an activity as replace column values. where we need to replace browse underscore to empty value. We have an activity as changing the data type, so we need to change the data type of date key column from text to date. And similarly, we need to rename some of the columns. So first, what we need to do, we need to replace column values. So for that, we have this device lookup. We have this device lookup table. We have this device lookup table. So in this particular table, we need to perform the replace value activity. And here what we need to replace, we need to replace browse underscore value with simply empty value. So let's perform this activity. So for this, what we need to do, we need to click on this column and click on this replace values. Once we will click on this, so value to find, what value we need to find? We need to find the browse underscore value and we need to replace it with empty value. So just click on OK, and you can see here we have replaced browse underscore with empty values. So now the respective browser names are coming without the browse word before them. Now you can see here that some statistics are coming related to these columns. So these statistics are not automatically visible. So to enable them, what we need to do, we need to click on this column distribution checkbox. So once we will click on this column distribution checkbox, we will be able to see certain statistics. We can also profile the column as well, like we can perform this column profiling as well. But for now, here as you can see, in the device key column, we have 100 distinct values, 100 unique. We have the device name 100 distinct, 100 unique. In device type, we have 5 distinct but 0 unique. What does that mean? That there are 5 distinct values but every value is repeating itself. When the values distinct and unique, these are same, it means that all the values are individual, they are not repeating. But here the values are repeating, it means that there are 5 distinct values but values are repeating, hence there are 0 unique values because they are repeating. Similarly, for this content segment column, we have 5 distinct values but 0 unique. It means all the values are repeating. And similar is the case for device browser. All the values are repeating here. That is why there are 0 unique but 4 distinct values. So this type of information we can capture using this column distribution and column profiling. From column profiling, we can see the count, error, empty, distinct, unique, empty string, minimum, maximum, these type of things. Minimum, maximum is not relevant because this is string type column. So there is no point of minimum, maximum here. So now we can jump on to our next activity, data preparation activity to be precise. So next activity is changing the data type. So in this activity, we are going to change the data type of date key column from text to date. So our date key column is present. Our date key column is present in our fact table. So this table contains date key column. As you can see, there are 731 distinct dates present in this table, in this particular column. And what we need to do, first of all, we need to see that ABC, this type of icon is appearing before this column. So this means this contains text data, and we need to change it to date. So once we will click on date, the icon will change to calendar. So before, earlier it was coming as ABC, now it is coming as calendar. And as you can see, from the values are coming in, the values are now coming in date format. So we have finished these two activities. So we have finished this activity as well as this activity. Now the third activity is column renaming. First, we need to rename source campaign to campaign. So we need to perform this source campaign to campaign, and this column is present in source lookup table. So source campaign to campaign. Okay, simply we have changed this. Next, we need to change source type to website traffic sources. So source type to website traffic sources. Okay, website traffic sources, and then we need to perform column name change from location city to city. So city, this type of data is present in geo lookup table. So location city to city, we We just need to remove the location underscore thing here, location region to region. So we need to remove this location underscore here as well, and as well from the country. Okay, I think we are good to go. Yes, we have performed all the column renaming exercise. And now you can see here, like there is one distinct and zero unique. It means that there is only one value, that is India, and that is repeating. So we have the data for only one country, India here. Region wise, we have four distinct regions: west, east, north, south, and all the regions are repeating, and that is why there are zero unique values. Then we have the 10 distinct, there are different cities that I have mentioned from different regions, and every city is repeating, it means zero unique. And we have mentioned the respective locations inside those cities with the dummy data here. And then we have the location key. So this is the data for geo lookup. We go to the source lookup. This is the source key, source name, website traffic sources. There are six different sources mentioned here, all are repeating. Similarly, 6 campaigns are mentioned here. And for device lookup as well, we have this device key, device name, device types like laptops, mobile, desktop. Similarly, content segment, which type of content user is browsing from these devices, like business, education, those are all mentioned, 5 distinct values present. And similarly, browser as well, different browsers are mentioned here as well. Then we have the fact table. So fact table contains session IDs. Each individual session has associated session ID. Then we have the date key column, source key, that is a foreign key, device key is also a foreign key, location key is also foreign key, and then we have the session duration column, and then finally page views per session. This is the numerical column present inside our fact table. The one important thing that I want to tell you is that this session duration is mentioned in seconds. So this 180 is 180 seconds. So for when we are going to perform our analysis, we need to convert those seconds into hours. So that type of activity we will perform in DAX only. So we are refraining ourselves. Otherwise, we can perform that activity, add a new column where session duration is mentioned in hours. But to avoid that particular thing and to perform, because that particular activity we can perform in DAX as well very easily, so we will perform the same in DAX using DAX itself. So for now, I think we are good to go ahead, and we have performed all the data preparation activities. So what I will do, I will click on home, close, and apply. So the thing is, we have finished all those activities, and now our two major activity, data capture and data shaping, these two activities are already finished. Now we will come on to this data modeling part. So we are going to establish the relationship among different dimension fact tables. So as you can see here, we have these tables present, but all these tables are independent. There is no relation, independent in the sense there is no specific relation mentioned here. The reason being, in the options and settings, if you can go here and click on options and settings and options, at the time of data load, let me show you, at the time of data load, I have unchecked all these values. So that is why the automatic relationships are not established here. Why I actually emphasize on this particular part is we need to refrain ourselves by providing or mentioning auto detect relationship, because sometimes Power BI detect wrong relationship and it will result into wrong data to be present in on the visuals itself. So I would prefer to establish relationship on my own. So for that, I will put this fact table here, and respective device key I will mention or join it with device key, and location with location I need to pull to the location key, and similarly source will join to the source key. Now as you can see, there is one to many relationship. So on one side we have the dimension tables, and on the many side we have the fact table. Why this one to many relationship? Because for a single source key there are multiple values present inside the fact table. For a single location key, there are multiple values present inside the fact table, and for the single device key, there are multiple values present inside this fact table. Now we have these three dimension tables and one fact table. One thing that is missing currently, one thing that is missing currently is calendar dimension table, or in other words, some people say date lookup table. So date lookup or calendar dimension, we need to design that calendar dimension table using our DAX code. So we need to design a new table which we will categorize as calendar dimension, and then once we will design that table, we need to join that table with our fact table as well. So the next activity is designing the calendar dimension table and joining that table, because till this point our data model is not complete, it is incomplete. We have finished, I can say, 70% of activities inside our data model, but the rest of the 30% is still pending, that is related to design, that we can perform only after once we have the calendar dimension present. So we now the next task will be to design the calendar dimension. Also from this chart we can see, we can now the task is to design a new table, that is calendar dimension or date dimension table. So my date lookup table script is already ready. So what I will do, will copy paste this particular script. I have already written this to save time, but if you want to dive into this topic more in detail, then I have a separate dedicated video in which I have explained in detail how you can create this date lookup table. Here also I will explain you the basics of this calendar dimension table. So for now, what we need to do, we need to go to this report view, and under this modeling section, there is an option of creating a new table. We will click on this. Just we need to make it large and we need to copy paste the content. So now the content that we have copied from the notepad file, we have pasted it here. So this is the code, this is the DAX code for creating the date lookup table. And let me emphasize you, we need to put a significant amount of time before creating this date lookup table, and we need to select in advance which all columns are required in this date lookup table, because if we will do that particular exercise in the beginning, we will save our time down the line. So this is the main advantage of selecting or identifying the important columns that will be the part of this table. So here what we will do, we have copy pasted the script. Now we need to understand how this code is working. So here first, let's skip this add columns for a minute. First we will go on this calendar DAX function. So calendar DAX function we have used, and in this calendar DAX function we have mentioned two arguments. This is the first argument with the minimum function, and this is the second argument with the max function. So we are creating a range of date values. The lower range is the minimum value of the minimum date value of our fact table. This will be the minimum value, that is the lower range, and the higher range is the maximum value of the maximum date value of this fact table. So minimum date value of the fact table and maximum date value of this fact table we are using to design this calendar dimension table. So calendar function, what it will do, it will create a single column table it will create, and that column is all the date, that column contains all the date values ranging from the minimum date value of this website traffic fact table data and the maximum value of this website traffic fact data. So it contains single column table. Now, as you are aware that this single column table is of no use to us because it contains only date values. So we have used add column DAX function, add columns DAX function, just to add further columns inside that table, because single column is of no use to us. That is why I have used this add columns DAX function. So all this year, quarter, month name, month number, week, weekday, day, these type of columns we are able to add just because of this add columns DAX function. The first column is year because we want to fetch the year values from the date value. Similarly, quarter, we need to fetch the quarter values. Similarly, for the month names, like we need to fetch the value Jan, Feb, March using this particular thing, in this particular column. Then we have the month number, we need to fetch values like 1 2 3 4 here. Week number, weekday, and day. So day is basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Weekday is like 1 2 3 4, like where this Sunday is residing out of the total 7 days. So there is a specific number assigned in this weekday. Similarly, week, there is a week column as well, and will extract the week number from the date value. Month function will extract the month number from the date value. Quarter function will extract the respective quarter from the date value, and year function will extract the year value from the date value. So these are the respective functions like year, quarter, month. Format is used because we need January, February, March, these type of months. Similarly, format is here also used just to extract the dates in the form of Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So this is all in all our date lookup table or calendar dimension table. Hope I am able to explain this table to you. And if in case you have any doubts, you just mention them in comment section. I will try to answer. So now what we need to do, we need to commit the changes. So once we will commit the changes, you can see that we have the separate date lookup table present here, and there is a calculator icon because this is a calculate table. That is why calculator symbol is coming here. Now the next activity is, that is very important, we need not to forget to join this particular date table with our fact table. We need to join this date lookup table and with our website traffic analytics fact table. And now you can see there is a one-to-one relationship. The reason being, all the date values are appearing only one time inside this fact table. So all the date values that are present in this date lookup table, they are appearing only once in this fact table. That is why there is one-to-one relationship between these two tables. Ideally, let me tell you from my experience, you will not get this one-to-one experience in real world projects. In real world projects, you will definitely see one-to-many relationship between your date lookup table and the fact table. But here, this is the demo project and data is for demo purpose only. So that is why I have created this data in this manner. Otherwise, in real world projects, you will not get this type of one-to-one relationship between fact table and date dimension table. So now we have established all the relationship, and from this figure, you can clearly see we are going to follow the star schema. We are going to follow the star schema here. So this is appearing as a star here. So if I can show you like this, so and this, so this is something appearing, don't go with the shape, but yes, this is something star schema. In the center, we have the fact table. And on the respective corners, we have the dimension table. So this is our geo dimension or geo lookup table. This is our source lookup table. This is our device lookup table. And this is our date lookup table. All the lookup tables are present on the corners of this star. So as you can see here, these are the corners. So all the tables are present and fact table is present in the center. So this is the star schema that we are following in this project. Now the next activity will be designing the measures. We need to design the measures to perform the respective calculations. So the next activity is designing measures. So we have finished this data capture, we have finished the data shaping, data modeling, we have designed this new table, and now the activity is designing the new measures. We also need to save this project. Let me tell you, we have forgot this particular exercise. Actually, we need to save this project in the beginning itself. So for now, I'm going to save this project on the desktop itself. So on desktop, under this website traffic analytics, I'm going to save this project. So website traffic analytics. This will be the name of our project. I'm going to save this. So I have saved this project now, and we will proceed with the further activities. Now we have already created our date dimension table. The next task is to create the measures. So as you can see from our list of activities, we have finished the data capture task, we have finished the data shaping task, we have already finished our data modeling task as well. We have created our calendar dimension. So the next task that is important, or the next activity that is important, is designing the measures. So we will design all these measures that are listed here. So we will start with the first measure, that is total page views. So we will going to create this measure. But before designing this measure, as you all are aware that we will first create a separate table for placing all our measures. So we need a separate table, a dedicated table to hold all the measures. So for that, what we need to do, we need to click on this, create a new table, this icon. And as you can see here, it will create a separate table. So we should name the table. Let me name it as measures only, hash measures. And let's keep this column one as it is, because we cannot create a table without a single column. So we need to keep this column as it is. We will load this, and now you can see that there is a separate table created in the Power BI. So this is a separate table that we have created for holding all the measures. Now we will start designing our measures, and the first measure, as we have already discussed, it should be total page views. So we will create this particular measure, and for that, what we need to do, we need to either click here on this calculator icon, new measure, or we can create this. We can click on this table and create, and click on this new measure here as well. So this is our window for creating the, or writing the DAX code for our measures. So the first measure will be total page views. And where we will find this page views thing, we will find this page views thing in our fact table. So this is our fact table. Let me click on this. So here you can see there is a column page views per session. We will use this column, and just we need to do, because we are identifying total, we need to sum this value page views per session. So by this we can be able to find the total page views. Now for that, what we need to do, we need to first, let me track this. Okay, we need to use our website traffic data. Website traffic data, this is our fact table, and we need to click on this page views per session, and we need to put this, and let me enter this. So by this we are able to calculate the total page views. So this will be our first measure, and now because we have this value already placed, now we can remove this extra column from our measures table. So we can delete this column 1. Okay, and as you can see here, a calculator icon. Earlier there was some different icon. Now the calculator icon is coming. It means that this table, this measures table, is holding the measures inside it. Now we have created the first measure, total page views. Next measure that we need to design is total number of sessions. So we need to design new measure, that is total number of sessions. So here what we need to do, total number of sessions. You can mention like this as well. Okay, and now for this, what we need to do, we need to count all the session IDs. So there are different session IDs. Each session ID is associated with a specific session. So now what we need to do, we need to count all those session IDs. Let me tell you the logic what we need, that we need to follow. We need to, there's a specific session ID associated. This session ID is associated with specific session, with specific session. So what we need to do, we need to count all these session. We need to count all these session ID, and by which what we can achieve, we can achieve the calculation of total number of sessions. So through this we can achieve calculation of total number of sessions. So same thing we are going to follow here. What we need to do, we just need to count all the session IDs present inside our fact table. So we will, what we need to do, we need to just count, and we need to pass the column name. As you can see from the syntax, it requires column name inside it, and it counts the numbers in a column. So what we need to do, we need to pass, first of all we need to use our website traffic data fact table, and we need to pass the session ID like this. Just put the closing bracket and just click on OK. Okay, we are able to calculate the total number of sessions as well. As you can see, there are two measures: total page views we have already designed, now the total number of sessions. So now we have finished designing our two important measures like total page views and total number of sessions. The next measure that we need to design, we can see from the list of activities. So here the next measure that we need to design is total session duration. What does that mean, and why are we designing this measure? So here from the fact table, you can see there is a column session duration. What is this session duration column indicates? So here there is a session ID S1. Let's consider there is a session ID S1 corresponding to this session. There is a value mentioned in session duration column, and let's say that value is, for a hypothetical in a hypothetical manner, we can consider it as 76 seconds. So S1 session is of 76 seconds. So 76 seconds means, let's consider there is a start time of a session and there is an end time of a session. So this particular session, S1 session, span for 76 seconds. So this is our S1 session, and this session span, or the duration of this section, this particular session is 76 seconds. So by the measure total session duration, what we are doing, we are summing up these values for all the session IDs. This S1, S2, S1 session duration, S2 session duration, up to so on. So what we are doing, we are summing these values in this particular measure. I hope I'm able to explain this, what is this total session duration measure is going to perform. So now what we are going to do, we are going to create this measure. So for this, what we need to do, we need to click on this table, click on new measure, and in the measure name, we will mention it as total session duration. We can mention it like this. And one more thing that I want to highlight here is that mentioning the name of measure is very critical. You need to make sure that you should give a meaningful name to all the measures. Random names, we should avoid giving random names to our measure. That is very important practice, and beginners must keep focus on this particular aspect, because interviewer might ask like, is there any specific way we need to mention the measure's name? So you need to make sure that we need to provide the answer in this manner, that always provide a meaningful name to our measure. Always follow this practice. So what we need to do, we need to just sum the value from our fact table. So here we have this session duration, and we just need to put this bracket, close bracket, and just OK. Fine. Now there are three measures there: total number of sessions, total page views, total session duration. Let's see what's the next measure that we need to design, that is average session duration. So currently we have designed the total session duration, and what is the average session? So let's suppose I can explain you like this. First of all, let me close this. Okay. What is this average session duration? So let's suppose S1 is of 76 seconds, S2 session is of, or I can say the duration of S2 seconds is of 100 seconds, and S3 is of, let's suppose 10 seconds. So here what we need to do, we are going to average these values to identify what is the average session duration. Okay, so that is the purpose of designing this measure, to identify the average of these values, these total session values. So we need to follow the practice. Simply we just replace the sum dax function with average dax function here, and we are able to calculate the average session duration. So for this, now what we need to do, we need to again click on this measures table. Also, you can click on this new measures, and it should be average session duration. Okay, and we just need to mention average function here, and put our column here, that is session duration, and we need to close it. One more thing that I want to highlight here is, friends, if I can go to this table and show you the values. So the session durations are coming in seconds. So these values are coming in seconds. And in the beginning, when we were performing data preparation, I mentioned that these values are in seconds and we need to convert them into hour when writing the tax code. So the same thing we need to perform here. What we need to do, we need to change the values from seconds to hour. So for that, total go to this total session duration and divide the values to from 3600. So in this manner, we will be able to convert our values from seconds to hours. Similarly, for average session duration, we need to convert the values from seconds to hours. Let's click on OK. OK. So we are able to change values from seconds to hours. So I think we have finished with the 4 measures. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the last measure that we need to design, and the important measure that we need to design, is bounce rate. So what is this bounce rate? So in the beginning of this project video, I have explained what is bounce rate. So bounce rate is basically bounce rate is basically bounced sessions. Bounced sessions divided by total number of sessions. Divided by total number of sessions. Total number of sessions. So this is bounce rate. And how we can calculate the bounce session? We need to make sure that page views per session less than 2. So whenever the page views per session is less than 2, we need to sum those sessions, and we will place in, or we will categorize those sessions as bounce sessions. Whenever the page views in a specific sessions are less than 2, we can categorize those sessions as bounce sessions. So now what we need to do, we need to calculate or design our bounce rate measure. So here, just click on this new measure, and we will mention it as bounce rate. And first here we will design a variable for holding the bounce sessions value. So variable is holding the bounce session, or basically the bounce session count. So this variable we are designing to calculate the bounce session count. So variable bounce session equal to calculate count of session ID. Okay. But when the page views per session, when the page views per session should be less than 2, it should be less than 2, because we are considering single page sessions as bound sessions. So here we have mentioned the value as less than 2. Now what we need to do, we need to calculate our final output. So for that, in the numerator we need to mention this bound session. Okay, and in denominator we need to mention the total sessions, and for total sessions there is specific measure that we have already created, total number of sessions. So we will use that total number of sessions in denominator, and alternate result, as you can see from the syntax, numerator, denominator. Alternate result is not mandatory, but we can mention 0 here. And because we have mentioned the values in variable, we have mentioned this output in variable, so we need to return this value. So we have returned this output. You can just click on this icon, commit icon, this tick icon is commit icon. We can click on this, and in this manner our all the measures that are required, like 5 measures that are required in this project, we have designed all those measures. And once we have those measures, now the activity of designing the reports will going to start. As you can see from here, our next activity after designing the measures is creating the reports. So we will go on this activity and we will start designing the different reports that we have discussed in the beginning of this project.